Here we are in my bedroom, which needs a lot of work. So I finally got the black curtains down that were here when we moved in. You can see that in my house tour, my empty house tour. And then I had these 4 green curtains, so some sage green and then some, jewel-toned green. And I thought if I did different ones, it would look good. I even had them back on the wall. My bed is catty-cornered here, or kitty-cornered if you're from the north. But I didn't like it all the way on the back wall, so then I brought it forward, and I just don't like it. So I'm going to try these out. These used to be in my last house, in my little archway in my kitchen. So let's take some of this down. I'm probably going to take these 3 down, move this one here, like this. And I did all of this with a staple gun, so yeah, you can probably tell. Anyways, so I'm going to move this one here and then put the other 2 here and kind of drape them like this and then have them hang down. Okay, I am out of breath, but here we are. Here's what it looks like. Now I definitely need this removed. But here we go. These are 2 panels of curtains that I got at a Goodwill maybe 4 years ago, and I have loved them and used them in every house since. I do see one problem. I'm gonna have to fix that real quick. That little gap up there. So anyways, this was fun and cool. Since I have yet to say it, this is Anna with Cottage on Oak, and welcome to my channel. Now we are out of the bedroom and into the kitchen. I am finally getting rid of that depressing hospital light that was in my kitchen. And I'm getting to put up one of my chandeliers that I have had for years, and I am so excited. You've seen my brother-in-law Andrew on the channel before, and he is here again helping us put up this chandelier. I've also had the ceiling medallion for a long time. The medallion and chandelier were both Facebook Marketplace buys. Okay.
That's the only kind that I see. Want some of that?
This day, it was my husband's birthday, so the family came over for a little fun get-together, and my mom and sister helped me clean and hang up some chandelier pieces. They were very dirty, and we polished every single one.
And they're like, sushi, what was it?
Happy birthday to you! Woo! Happy birthday to you! Woo!
Happy birthday, dear Dakota. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! Here we are, all finished. I am in love. It looks so good. And it's funny because everyone's like, oh, what a fancy light. And it is a fancy light. But I guess I don't know. I feel like the other light made more of a statement because it just made me so depressed. But this one is a statement of beauty. So they both made 2 different statements, I guess. Now the next step is to paint the ceiling gold or put up some kind of gold peel and stick wallpaper. So now it's time to make some salt dough ornament cookies. So they're not actually cookies, but they are ornaments. And to get into the holiday spirit a little bit in the kitchen, we hung up a little Christmas towel that I won at a ladies' Christmas in July party at our church. And along with it, this little apron, which I love. And it's a good thing I put on this apron because I am a messy baker. Just letting everyone know, I will get it in my hair, on my clothes, on the floor, on the wall, everywhere. So first you need a large bowl. I am using great value cheap ingredients because these are not to be eaten. I will just be using them to paint on as an ornament. So I like to use the cheap great value flour. So you need 2 cups of that. And then you will also need some salt. And here's the recipe. I again use the great value iodized salt from Walmart. So 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, and then 3/4 a cup of warm water. Now, if you want to make these smell like cinnamon or ginger or things like that, you can add those, but you will need to add a little bit more warm water because of all the extra dry ingredients that you will be adding into the mixture. And I'm just using some warm water from boiling some earlier. I usually just use it straight from the sink. It doesn't really matter because, again, you're not going to eat them. To mix, I'm just grabbing a rubber spatula from Walmart. So I'm just mixing it all in. It's not supposed to be perfect yet, and you just mix it to where it's all, looking good. Then on a clean surface, you sprinkle some flour onto the surface, and then you pop that dough onto the surface and just knead it like you would bread. So I did bring my kids into this. I let them help me knead the dough, and they just basically played with it. I told them to punch it, poke it, squish it, all that fun stuff. They can make a shape if they want, because I initially just needed the dough mixed up together, so they got to have fun doing that. And yes, this always makes a big mess, and I'm okay with that. Once that is done, it's time to get a rolling pin to roll out the dough. I'm just giving it a good mix before I start rolling it out. My rolling pin is actually from Tanzania. It was a Christmas gift from my parents. It's one of my favorite things. And I'm working on the dough. I want it to be like 2 centimeters thick, something like that. I want it to be a little nice and thick. I don't want it to be too thin because when they are too thin, they will crumble and break easily. If you make them thicker, I have some that have lasted 5 years. Here's the thickness that you want. I usually use my mom's cookie cutters, but I was at my house this day and all I had was an egg-shaped cookie cutter from Easter, so I decided to use that. And to poke a hole at the top, I just take a plastic straw and stick it in the top, swirl it around, and the dough will usually stick inside the top of the straw. I do wish I would have added cinnamon to these because I love the smell. But again, I made these to paint, and so I thought having the plain background would work better for me. If you make any Dough Ornament cookies every year, please let me know down below what recipe you use, especially if you add cinnamon or ginger or cloves to your recipe. Now, my kitchen does look dark in this picture, but it's not as dark as it looks in this video. But it is darker than it used to be. But I like that because it helps my eyes not hurt, like the other light made my head and my eyes hurt, and this one does not, so I love it so much. Now I'm putting the cookies on some parchment paper. I'm turning the oven onto 215 degrees Fahrenheit, and I spaced the cookies out evenly, I don't want them to touch. So now with my leftover dough, I'm just taking this Indian print block that I have and I'm pressing it into the dough. And it took it took some of the dirt that's on the print out of it. So I guess I kind of cleaned it a little bit. And then I took the cookie cutter on this design out. So now that they're all done, I'm putting them all into this pretty bowl so I can start painting them. And this recipe, the 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, 3/4 cup of water, made quite a bit of ornaments for me to paint, so I'm really happy about that, especially with how thick I made them. But they did not last long at all because my kids wanted to help me paint. So I think I got to paint 2, and they got the rest. My vintage green shoes I bought 5 years ago from a thrift store in Michigan. I love them. I wore them to church this morning. I had to get my painting tote out. This was my grandpa's, and he gave it to me years ago, and I've kept it ever since. Now, I have not painted in forever, and going through this, most of this was dried out and needed to be thrown away, so I have got to go through and update all of my painting. I did buy myself a new set of paintbrushes not that long ago, so I did have some nice ones to use there. Now, this was fun, but if you see, I did mess up here. I did not put a towel under my kids' paper plates. So, you can imagine what happened. So I had to clean up some spilt paint, and then I finally did what was right and put a towel under their plates. So I wanted to paint some of these to hand out as gifts, I know my family members enjoy homemade gifts, but I know some people do not. So these will be strictly for my family only. While we were painting, we had the Princess Bride playing in the background. I don't know if it's because it was Sunday and I am usually exhausted on Sunday, but I had no creative juices flowing while I was trying to paint these ornaments. So we used up all of them, so I think I'm just going to have to make a new batch and just keep them on hand until that creative itch strikes again. I also really wanted to make like a set, so like a set of 4. And again, that just didn't work. Also, I tell you, I spilt my paint cup everywhere. I had to clean up, and I wasn't even finished painting. It was just a mess, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. So, anyways, it was fun while it lasted. And another good thing is that these are cheap and easy to make, and if you want to throw them away, they're not going to tear up the environment. So thank you so much for watching. If you have a salt dough ornament recipe, please leave it in the comments down below, and I will see you next time here at Cottage on Oak with Anna.